What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, this is a must-watch video, as we heard the leaked audio, right? Regards to undefeated, unified, 3-belt WBC, WBA, IBF, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is widely considered to be top 2, if not number 1, definitely top 5 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and Errol the True Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is 28 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout, 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach, and his biggest rival, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the number 1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no loss, no draw, 29 big wins by way of knockout, 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach, okay? They make for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. It's the welterweight undisputed showdown. It's a legacy fight for both guys and a massive payday for both guys. Now, it seemed to be the holdup was that Terence Bud Crawford was with legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO Bob Arum, ESPN, and Top Rank, right? Now, Terence Crawford, after his November 20th showdown, 2021, with 2-time welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is retired future Hall of Famer, in Showtime Sean Porter, he got a 10th round stoppage victory, right? With that said, after the fight, Terence Crawford, he made it clear, I'm no longer with Top Rank, no longer with Bob Arum. There should be no more roadblocks preventing this fight from coming to fruition, right? Okay, Terence Crawford made that clear. So now, Errol Spence, he made his ring return in a unification bout against WBA welterweight world champion, star boxer, Cuban star boxer, Yordenis Ugas, April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T, Dallas Cowboys Stadium. I'm just catching y'all up. Follow me now, okay? And so they went into negotiations. As Errol Spence has stated, that they had started planning for a Terence Crawford fight even before his fight with Yordenis Ugas, in which he got a 10th round stoppage knockout victory where he broke Yordenis Ugas' ribs, nose, and orbital bone, okay? And Errol Spence, he let it be known that we started planning and setting up a fight for Terence Crawford already, okay? We started the negotiations, we started the plans for that fight already, okay? So now, here we are, October, and there's still no deal done, okay, for Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. Now, we get to the point where, guess what? It has completely fell through. There's not going to be a fight for Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, at least in 2022, okay, this year. So, Terence Crawford decided to move on. Terence Crawford going to fight December 10th in his hometown, Omaha, Nebraska, against David Avanesian, okay? Welterweight title contender, okay? From Armenian and Russia, okay? Now, Terence Crawford is the fall guy, okay? Because Terence Crawford, he signed with Top Rank, Bob Arum, ESPN. He re-signed there. All the welterweight fights was on PBC side. He's the fall guy for the fans, right? He's the one that's preventing the fight. So, when it came out that Terence Crawford was going in a different direction and he was going to focus on fighting somebody else, and there was a article released, an interview from Errol Spence's side and his team that stated that they sent Terence Crawford a revised contract, right, in 2 weeks ago to have the fight with Errol Spence in 2023, right? Okay. Terence Crawford decided to go in a different direction, meaning that the fight wasn't going to happen this year. Then out of nowhere, right, there was audio leaked of Errol Spence having a conversation with somebody clearly in a position of power. Here's where it gets interesting. Clearly in a position of power, right? Now, Terence Crawford stated that he agreed to 35-65 split in favor of Errol Spence. No guarantee money, no back-end money. But he's working on commission, right? Based off of what the pay-per-views do, the ticket sales, the gates, things of that nature. That's how Terence Crawford is going to be paid based off of this fight. He agreed to that. Nobody has yet to come out and dispute that. Not a single soul. You have a lot of people talking, but not one single soul has come out and disputed that. Cool. He never said he signed. He said he agreed in principle. Okay? Not one single soul has come out and disputed that. Not one. Cool. Now, keep this in mind. Okay. This audio is leaked. Now it looks like Terence Crawford moved on. Terence Crawford is the bad guy. This audio gets leaked of Errol Spence talking about the fight and not getting made. Errol Spence makes it clear. They told, now Al Haymon, he's saying that Al Haymon told him, informed him, right? Clearly, again, let me tell you, he's talking to a person in position of power. This is not a conversation Errol Spence is having with a close friend or anything of that nature. He's clearly talking to either a reporter or a person in position of power, because the way he's referencing Al Haymon lets you know it's not a personal conversation with a friend or a relative or just your local media member. This is somebody in position of power that he's having this conversation with that leaked this audio, right? In this audio, what's important to note is that Errol Spence states that they told him the fight could possibly take place in January of 2023. That revised contract said that the fight was going to be possibly staged in February of 2023. So that's two different dates to start off with, right? Then he goes that Terence Crawford doesn't trust and doesn't understand and doesn't know what's going on. He wants to be informed what's going on. So he wants to talk to Al Haymon directly. And Al Haymon is saying that Terence Crawford wants to ask him questions that he wouldn't normally ask Bob Arum. For one, how would he know what he asks Bob Arum on a regular basis if he wasn't there? He wouldn't know that. Okay, that's number one. He wouldn't know what questions Terence Crawford asks Bob Arum on a regular basis, or how many, how deep of questions, how far he goes with the questions. All he would know was what Bob Arum told him if he had a conversation with Bob Arum, and if not, he wouldn't know that, right? So he's saying he's asking him questions that Bob Arum, he wouldn't normally ask Bob Arum. Now, here's something to keep in mind, right? Is that the pay, the order of business is completely different. The model is completely different. Bob Arum pays him a set number, so he don't have to ask Bob Arum so many deep questions that he would have to ask Al Haymon, because Bob Arum pays him 3-5 up front or on the back end, or half of it in the front, half in the back. But at the end of the day, Terence Crawford is not working on what the fight generates. It's how he's getting paid. He's getting paid a salary, a set salary. With Al Haymon and PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, this fight is based off of commission. He's working off of what the numbers do. So of course he wants to ask more questions, because he's getting paid based off of the success of the fight. So it's completely different model. So why wouldn't he ask? And then he says that he wanted to have a conversation directly with Al Haymon, which means that Al Haymon wasn't having a conversation, or not interested in having a conversation directly with Terence Crawford. Well, why wouldn't you want to have direct conversation with Terence Crawford? You have direct conversation with Al Haymon. So if you're Terence Crawford, you don't have a promoter. You're coming over there and you're looking to do things their way, right? You're looking to do things their way, right? But you can't even have a conversation with the man in the pitch at the top. But Errol Spence can. So then he goes on to say, well, Terence Crawford has trust issues, right? Terence Crawford has trust issues, and that he don't trust anybody. He wants to have a conversation with Al Haymon, and he wants to understand what's going on. And Al Haymon is not interested in doing it, which means they weren't interested in making this fight. Because if he was, he would have just directly talked to Terence Crawford and had a conversation. Because this far into the game, if Al Haymon himself hasn't had a sit down or a conversation with Terence Crawford for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, then he wasn't truly interested in making this fight. And then once again, Errol Spence explains that they were offering him to fight former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer who held the WBC and WBA titles, and Keith one-time Thurman, who is a PBC fighter. Keith Thurman's 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'8", with a 69-inch arm reach. Errol Spence has explained on numerous occasions he has zero interest in fighting Keith Thurman. So why was Keith Thurman offered up again? Again, because they don't truly have interest in making the Terence Crawford Errol Spence fight for whatever reason. Whether the revenue is not there, whether the trust is not there, whether they just don't like Terence Crawford, who knows? But at the end of the day, they're offering him Keith Thurman once again, and he explained he has no interest in fighting Keith Thurman. Okay. Then Terence Crawford says he don't trust it. And now you get people saying, oh, Terence Crawford didn't trust it, but he trusts Bob Arum. Here's the most interesting and the most important thing here to note about the trust. For two things. For one, why didn't Al Haymon have conversation or willing to have conversation with Terence Crawford for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing? And Terence Crawford is an undefeated, arguably the best pound for pound fighter in the world. You're not even willing to have a conversation with him in person, on the phone directly? Why? And Terence Crawford's supposed to trust that? And then more importantly, why would Terence Crawford trust? Look what just happened to Errol Spence. Somebody in position of power just leaked this audio. Let me say it to y'all again in case you missed it for the people in the back. Somebody in position of power just leaked this audio of Errol Spence having a conversation clearly with somebody in position of power. So there is the red flag, the cause for pause, why Terence Crawford should not trust the situation. Somebody just leaked, and Errol Spence needs to come out, because Errol Spence knows he knows clearly who he was talking to in that conversation, and understand that Errol Spence heard this. He watches this. He knows. So Errol Spence understands very well who this person is he's having a conversation with and how they recorded him and leaked this audio. Because Errol Spence himself should be having trust issues. Because somebody he's talking to in position of power just leaked this audio that he was having in trust. And more importantly, they was recording him, asking him questions before and without him willingly knowing. And if he did willingly know that they was recording him, then that's bad on his part. If he was taking part, now watch this now. If Errol Spence was taking part in this leaked audio to try to prove a point, then that looks terrible on his part. But Errol Spence's character never comes off as a person that would want to do that. I don't believe Errol Spence had any idea this person was recording him. I don't know whom that person may be, but it's definitely a person in position of power that he felt comfortable talking about Al Haymon and referencing Al Haymon in the manner he did, and they leaked this audio. So if you're Terence Crawford and you're sitting back and you're looking at this, and you know you can't even have a conversation, personal conversation with Al Haymon, and on top of it, they leaking audio, that's a problem. You've never heard audio leaked of a personal audio conversation of Bob Arum and Terence Crawford, or Terence Crawford and Todd DeBuff, or Terence Crawford and the matchmakers at Top Rank. You have never heard that ever. There's a serious problem going on, and Terence Crawford should have trust issues. This should be a clear indication as to why Terence Crawford has trust issues. There's no way in the world somebody released Errol Spence's personal trust conversation. And there's no way in the world Al Haymon, with the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, is not willing to sit down and have a direct conversation with Terence Crawford. And there's no way Al Haymon should be telling he's asking too many questions when these fighters risk their life every time they step through the ropes. Period. And that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.